Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Aisha Nur, would you like to say the opening prayer?
We can listen to it from you, inshallah.
You can or I will?
You can do it.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربنا افرغ علينا صبرا وتوفنا مسلمين ربنا افرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه اللهم نور قلوبنا بنور الإيمان والقرآن والإسلام وبمعرفتك لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين آمين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Now, Aisha Nur, it is your mic is yours.
Inshallah. I might share my screen if that's okay.
Oh, okay. I'll stop, but I have to assign you as a, yeah. Aisha Nur, all right, just a minute. Okay. So make co-host. Yep.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Thank you.
You can open your video or not. That is up to you. Feel comfortable and free.
Okay, inshallah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today, I just want to share a short reflection on a few verses. These are from Surah Ankabut. And inshallah, they'll be of an informal nature, and others afterwards can share any comments they might have afterwards as well. And bismillah. So these first 6 verses, perhaps let's just read through them initially, and then I'll share some of the reflections I have. Abdurrahman, can you read the verses?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون ولقد فتنا الذين من قبلهم فليعلمن الله الذين صدقوا وليعلمن الكاذبين أم حسب الذين يعملون السيئات أن يسبقونا ساء ما يحكمون من كان يرجو لقاء الله فإن أجل الله لآت وهو السميع العليم ومن جاهد فإنما يجاهد لنفسه إن الله لغني عن العالمين.
Jazakallah khair, thank you. So let me go through them as well. Alif Lam Mim. Do the people think that they will be left to say, "We believe," and they will not be tried? But we have certainly tried those before them, and God will surely make evident those who are truthful, and He will surely make evident the liars. Or do they who work evil think that they will escape us? Evil is what they judge. Whoever should hope for the meeting with God, indeed the term decreed by God is coming, and he is the hearing, the knowing, and whoever strives only strives for the benefit of himself. Indeed, God is free from need of the worlds. I don't think my reflections will in any sense be exhaustive of these 6 verses, but just we can maybe take a quick overview, and I'll share what I was able to sort of engage with them and take from them. You know, this initial question of, do the people think that they will be left to say, we believe, and they will not be tried, made me think about, you know, as I approach this speech that I take and try to confirm as the speech of my Creator, right? Offering me guidance that I can't find from elsewhere, that I need in my life, guidance that offers me answers in terms of my existence and everything that I experience. And so when I, you know, approaching these verses with that mindset and trying to see what kind of guidance does it offer me right now in my current state, you know, that's more or less the general approach I was trying to take. And so when I initially again came across this question of, do the people think that they will be left to say, we believe, and they will not be tried? I took it as, what kind of role does my relationship with the Creator have in my life? What kind of role does the belief that I try to cultivate, perhaps in these classes, Monday nights, Wednesdays, that I try to cultivate, that I try to confirm through, witnessing my own existence and the existence of everything around me. What role does that play in my everyday life, in my day-to-day experiences? And sometimes I thought, you know, it made me think about how, have I split my life into a sort of binary? My belief is one thing, something I try to again cultivate, confirm, and the rest of my life are the, you know, the actual things that I'm dealing with, the actual worries, the problems, the anxieties that I might carry. And when I look to my life, and this is perhaps something that everyone can, you know, realize about their own lives as well, I see that I'm constantly taken from one state to another state, one circumstance to another circumstance. And I, you know, I might face difficulties, or I might face trials, if that's what someone wants to call them. But I face all types of events and situations in my daily life that require me to make sense of them. And that process also requires me to seek help in making sense of them as well. And so for me, this verse is about understanding that my belief is something that I must, of course, you know, be able to verbalize and say, you know, I can confirm this, I believe this, I can conclude this, but also that it must be something that is refreshed, reconfirmed, renewed daily through life circumstances, and that renewal of it through the various experiences that I have, through the various perhaps circumstances that I see as difficult, are indeed what open that path to finding a state of perfect contentment, perfect security. And the question is, if I don't use each of my daily experiences, interactions, the perhaps dealings that I have with my coworkers or my boss or my family or my spouse, these situations that I find myself in, if I don't use them as a sort of vehicle, a means to ask, how can I confirm my belief in my Creator through this situation? How can I connect to my Creator through this specific moment? What does this moment offer to me in terms of acquainting me further with the endless qualities of my Maker? What door is it opening there for me? Otherwise, you know, it seems like to me, and this verse reminds me of that, it acts as a reminder for me of that, belief becomes just something that I say, but not something that I live, that I breathe, that I experience. And in one sense, I see that the circumstances in my life that I may term as difficulties or afflictions or trials, right? These situations, these moments become a sort of reminder, a kind of, I would even say perhaps compassionate reminder that I am not self-sufficient, that I am, in fact, in this state of always requiring guidance and understanding, and that meaning is not given to me unless I ask for it, and it's permitted. That understanding is given as a sort of mercy, as a sort of bestowal from my Creator to me, not something I can conjure up or take. And in this sense, I think that, do the people think that they will be left to say, we believe and they will not be tried? That I'm not left to myself. I'm not left alone after saying I believe, because in fact, I would be utterly helpless if I was left after that. If no situations arose in which I could again be reminded of my reality, again be reminded that all the qualities of which I sometimes attribute to people, of security or happiness or love or value, are just being manifested in them as reflections. And that I would be utterly helpless if my Creator left me alone. And so that I'm given these sort of numerous opportunities to turn to Him. And so perhaps saying I believe means saying I believe when I go to school, saying I believe when I go to work, and that I live that belief in my dealings, in the situations that I face in school, in the situations that I face in work, in the situations that I face in my interpersonal relationships. And that living that belief or putting it into practice, utilizing each moment, each interaction, each experience as an opportunity to ask myself, how is this situation making me feel my neediness as a human being? How can I secure my existence? How can I secure the feelings that I have within this situation in a meaningful way, in an eternal sense, with this given opportunity? And I think living that belief, experiencing it, then becomes being tried in it, if you will. I mean, that's the word they use here for the translation, is then what leads to the actual bliss of that belief, by remaining conscious of the qualities of my sustainer in my dealings. And if I again, I'm not going to dive too much into these. I'm more concerned about this initial question, but if I look to these coming verses as well, this is the reality that everyone faces, right? That everyone is constantly going through something. There's no sort of shortage of things that I might find to complain about, or that others find to complain about, or difficulties. But are they things given to me to just complain about, or to utilize, to jump on again as an opportunity to offer me something meaningful about my existence? And I think that whatever I may hold as a conviction, as a belief, can only really show itself as a conviction if I hold it to be true and applicable in the face of my life experiences. And if I live my life in such a way where I can be conscious of my Creator and the manifested, reflected qualities of Him, and not misattribute them to other people or things or entities or causes, there's a lot of topics that we talk about in these classes, then I will have been truthful to myself. I will have been truthful to what I claim to believe in. Otherwise, in my misattributions, in my forgetfulness of the actual source of existence, actual source of all the sort of beautiful qualities that I experience, in my misattribution of that, I only deceive myself, and it's only my loss. And that deception is shown to me in my state of discontent, in my state of not having a point of support. You know, I engage in that process of self-deception if I say that, you know, of course, yes, I believe in my source of existence or my creator, but continue to attribute success to myself or the power to give sustenance to my job. If I don't bring that sort of conclusion I bear into all the different aspects in my life that continuously push me to witness that there can be no source of existence, no source of sustenance, no source of love, of eternity, except with Him. And I think in those moments of misattributions, in those moments of perhaps not being conscious, genuinely conscious of my reality as I can be, as the capacity, potentiality has been given to me, those are the moments that are in essence sort of evil for me. Anything that I'm not able to see through the meaningful light that it has, in which I think that I might be self-sufficient, that I can be free of the need for God, that in itself is the evil that I inflict upon myself, depriving myself of God's mercy, which is there, but not allowing myself to be a conscious recipient of it. And conceptualizing evil as that which takes me away from my source. And so looking at, you know, this 5th verse here, I think that all these difficulties, all of these moments, perhaps again, if you want to call them trials, are then all opportunities to meet God, to become acquainted with His qualities through this universe, through these experiences that I have. I am meeting continuously my own needs, my own lackings, which then introduce me to the only one who can secure all of my needs and all of my desires, who can fulfill my ardent hope for security and happiness. And to meet my then determined time or term is to be able to recognize and acknowledge those divine qualities. And so, you know, this I think 6th verse really beautifully delivers that message that in saying I believe, I am really striving for my own benefit, right? That it's in trying to make applicable my belief, in trying to be conscious of my reality, of my source of existence in my day-to-day life. It's for my own benefit. It's the only way in which I can even make sense of what is going on around me. It's the only way in which everything that I'm going through becomes meaningful. And I have that craving, that desperate need, fundamental human need for meaningfulness. And so when I recognize my creator, who is disposing all of my affairs for me, who is creating everything for me, including all of these moments that I can see as opportunities for me, then I see that each moment I come to experience is in itself a sort of signpost to Him. It's a guidance for me to take heed of. And I'm reminded, as the first verse says, that I'm the one in need of guidance. And that without His guidance, I can't make meaning out of any of the letters of existence that I come across. And just so as a final note, I know I'm briefly kind of, these are just sharing some of my informal reflections, if you will, but just a few takeaways, I guess, from me, from reflecting on some of these verses, were that everything that I experience, right, things that I may see as trials, things that I may see as difficulties, you know, worries that I have, difficulties I may have in my relationships to people, that all of these, any stressors I might be under, that all of these become opportunities for me to confirm, renew, refresh my belief, to open the door to using all of my human potentiality to recognize and acquaint me further with the divine qualities of my Creator. And it's through that door of belief, when I make belief something that is applicable and continuously present in my life, when I'm continuously conscious or strive to be on that path, then that opens the door and path to perfect happiness and security. And these verses, they begin with Alif Lam Mim. I don't know what that means, but it's for me it's a way of saying that all meaning, understanding is from my Creator. I can't make meaning out of anything if it's not created for me, if it's not given to me, if the message is not given to me. And so, I guess all of this wraps back around to asking myself, what is the objective of my existence? And that is to recognize the fragility of my own human reality, to question how this existence has been given to me, how it is being given to me, to come to know my Creator, my source, and to become acquainted with His divine names, and to utilize the qualities and faculties that have been given to me as a human being, to utilize that potential in order to further come to know Him. And I think to say I believe, is to engage in that process continuously until till my last breath. That's why I'm here. But Jazakallah khair. Inshallah, those were just some short reflections I wanted to share, and just share whatever meaning that was opened up for me from the verses. Thank you.
Thank you. You are welcome. It is excellent, mashallah. I don't know what to say after this presentation. I have no right to say anything. So we have been studying. Let's come to our continuation of the Chronicles revelation of the Quran. We were about to complete today, inshallah, the section Tariq of the Quran, which is the chronically 36 revealed section of the Quran. And now we are at the very last slide now today. And yeah, here, verse 15, we are going to study today, inshallah. So verse 15 reads as, let me get rid of this picture from here. Okay. وَالسَّمَاءِ ذَاتِ الرَّجْعِ. Consider the heavens ever revolving. Raja means return back again and again and again, which means here, nicely translated as ever revolving, it means it is not static. It is continuously moving, but movement is very important in the creation of the universe and everything in this world. Movement is not only a static creation, but at the same time, continuous change is inferred in it, continuously changing. For example, if you are moving your car, it means you are repositioning it, giving a new place for it, etc. If somebody is moving, of course, it is taking a new situation in its existence. So everything in the Quran related to time infers that this creation is constantly changing. So we have to understand this. Even in the Quran refers to the night and the morning, and changing the day and the night and replacing with each other, all refers to the time dimension of the acts of creation. We have to understand this, and time dimension act of the creation demonstrates that the creation itself is transient, not permanent. It means it cannot stay on its own. It cannot remain on its own. It cannot preserve, sustain its existence by itself. The time dimension is extremely important to pay attention to the creation, because it demonstrates that the universe is dependent, and we have to understand that the one who gives existence to the universe is not dependent on anything. It must be self-existing one. So the verse 12, well, al-badat is-sada, it means, and the earth bursting out. Oh. Yeah. Sorry. And the earth bursting out with forth with plants, it means again, there's movement is demonstrating that it is not really okay. All right. Okay. All right. Somebody has written me a special note. That's why, a private note. That's why I kept it attracted my attention. That's okay. And the earth bursting forth with plants. Look at all the movement is also for a purpose. That's what we have to understand, because the things are changing, but changing for not nothing. There is a purpose. For example, the seasons are changing. The earth is revolving around the sun, and during the seasons, all the different kinds of creation are taking place. Now, we said, we discussed all these verses earlier. That's why I'm just revising them quickly. Innehu laqawlun fasl. Now, all the subject of the star which visits night, comes at night, is talking about the Qur'an. That is why innehu laqawlun fasl. It is indeed a distinguishing speech. What is it here? The Qur'an. Qur'an, a distinguishing speech. It means makes the differentiation, differentiates between right and wrong, true and false. وَمَا هُوَ بِالْهَازِلِ. It is not an idle tale. It is not an idle tale. What does it mean? The Quran is not talking about just idle tale. It means meaningless stories. So it means two things. You have to take it, you have to pay attention to it. It is really talking about your real life. So that the second part of the meaning is, or second side of the meaning is, you have to read the seemingly story-like narrations in the Quran as real life experience for yourself. As earlier Aisha presented, everything is created, which is created here on earth, is an opportunity for us to take an advantage of it and get to know who the creator of this event is and what he is telling me, in order to educate myself, in order to prepare myself, so that I will be facing my creator. So it is not an idle talk. Okay. Sorry. No. Innehum yakidune kayda. Behold, they are devising a scheme to refute the truth. This is what we are going to discuss today, inshallah, as much as we have time. who are they devising a scheme to refute the truth? Who are they? Are there anybody who is really competing with God, or is there any other authority in the world which will really challenge God or devise a scheme so that God will not fulfill its promise, or God will not be able to continue its creation? Or what does it mean? What does it mean? Of course, we have to study this verse with the following one. And Akidu Kaida, and I too am devising a scheme. This is a very, very deep meaning is really ingrained in these two verses. What does it mean? We have to understand now what it means. Devising a scheme means looking at the universe. That's what we understand. Looking at the universe and trying to explain it away in a way that the truth will be covered up or denied. How do they do it? They use different schemes, different ways, especially nowadays. They are very, very careful about not to accept the truth, not to confirm the truth, but reject it. How do they do that? First of all, we have to be very careful of the way the things are created. The most important aspect of the creation is that it is taking place within an order. It gives an impression that as if everything is happening as they have to happen by themselves, because it is created within a regularity. Regularity means every time you do something or something happens, another event follows it as a consequence of it, and it is this regularity doesn't change. It may give, for some people who are looking for an excuse not to confirm the truth, it may give them an opportunity to deny that there is an absolute will organizing all this. For example, when we get on the car and start driving it, what we think, if I turn the wheel this way or another way, left, right, whatever, or straight, and the car goes there. And I believe that, and I confirm that, I think it has to be in this way. That is my relationship with a car, the human-made thing. Because every time I turn the steering wheel to right, the car goes to right. Anytime I turn it to the left, it goes to left. What does it mean? It seems to be, it is happening by itself. But in fact, it is arranged in this way by a conscious being, and the matter, the material side of car has been put within an order according to the will, according to the choice of the engineer manipulating it. Now, what is happening in the universe? Everything is arranged by its creator in this way, so that in the way that we are accustomed with, as if every day follows each other, as if everything happens, what we do for the simple thing. I don't know, if I hit on the table, for example, where I am sitting, I will do a demonstration, makes a noise. You heard of it. That is how it is. So I don't see that this is a new creation according to the choice and the decision of its creator. I see that because I hit the table, which is made of wood, it makes noise because it is how it is. Now, in order to understand this, Qur'an said the quality, the connection is a bit weak now. Inshallah, you can hear me. If you don't, let me know. The relationship between the speech of the Creator and the action of the Creator are going parallel to each other. If the speech of the Creator is a distinguisher, and that makes the distinction between right and wrong, so the creation also makes it distinguished between right and wrong. How? Ashanur also referred to it briefly, very briefly, by the way. We see that, let me go here. Now, we see that the order is taking place in as I mentioned before, within an order, within a regularity. Regularity means first thing happens and another thing follows it. Another thing follows it. For example, of course, I always prefer to use the simplest example. For example, the plants grow when I water them. The simple example, which definitely I must have mentioned it before on many occasions, but we can generalize this. It is a good example. If I don't put water, plant doesn't grow. That is the order. When I put water, it grows. It means those people who devise a scheme, it means to refute the truth. They say, look, water is the cause for the growth of the plant. At first glance, it seems to be correct. Yeah, if I don't put the water, plant doesn't grow. It means, with the philosophical language, the absence of the cause results in the absence of the effect. But so it means the presence of the cause results in the presence of the effect, which means the thing that I call, in our example, which is water is the cause of growth of the plant. Everything happens in the plant because of the effect of the water. And also plant has its own structure, which is called, nowadays, they call it DNA, written form of what will happen to the future of the plant, as if the blueprint of the plant, it is there. Now, it is written there. Let's say the project of a building, project of a car, for example. We have the blueprint of the car. All the things are beautifully stated there. Okay, that is what DNA is all about. Now, when you put water, this starts functioning. But that's what the people, especially the materialist biologists, claim. That is how the presence of DNA written form there and water combined together, life starts functioning. Now, let's see. Is what is called cause, but it is not the cause. We will understand why it is not the cause for anything, or cause to create, to give existence to anything. The Quran makes it distinguished between right and wrong. The creation often makes it distinguished between right and wrong. The Quran comes to our aid and says, look at the result. There is a purpose in it. There are enormous qualities manifested in it. What is the result? Plant. It has its own existence. It has a completely different nature. and it has its own shape, it has its own qualities, its own life. Now, come back to the project in the cell, which is DNA. Do you think a project itself is happening or has happened by itself or by a conscious being who has arranged it there and creating everything in harmony, within an order, and this order is continuously changing? What the materialist people say, it is developing by itself. Oh, look at me, I am getting old, or young people are getting growing and becoming adults. Do they do it themselves? They do it, and the matter itself develop itself in a perfect form. First of all, look at the qualities of the matter and look at the qualities of what is made, created out of this material. For example, look at the qualities of the material of the building or material of a car and look at the qualities of the car. One of them is just metal, has no knowledge, no will, no power, no wisdom, no planning ability, no giving a special form to the things, no arrangement between and a connection between other parts as well. They are dumb beings. What's happening there? They need a conscious factor to arrange them in this way, and then according to the order of the universe, they will function not by themselves, but according to the will of the creator of the order of the universe. That's what we have to understand here. I may not be able to clearly state what I mean, but you can imagine yourself. The universe, all the causes, let's come to the causes now. We call them causes. In the example of DNA written project, made up of matter. Matter, we should ask the questions. Does the matter have these qualities so that they will arrange the existence of the plant? And it is qualities, it is life, it is shape, it is minerals, the way they continuously change under a conscious control. Does the matter have any quality of consciousness, any quality of choosing, any quality of knowing, any quality of communicating with the other parts so that they will make a perfect order, mechanical things, which is alive or living mechanical things, and then acting together in harmony with no conflict. When we examine the quality of matter, what we realize that matter has no quality of itself, just is given existence in order to exist within the order of the universe. They have no choice to get out of the order of the universe, to do anything apart from their own position. You put a matter somewhere, any matter, somewhere, it stays there forever. It has no option. Life is also has nothing to do with matter. Life is a completely different nature of existence. Like human qualities, my feelings have nothing to do with matter. Matter cannot be the source of my human feelings. Matter cannot be source of my intelligence, because the nature of the existence of my intelligence, my feelings, have nothing to do with the quality of matter at all. Matter, for example, knowledge, or human feelings, any kind of human feelings, love, hate, fear, whatever, hope, wish, anxiety, whatever the human feelings are, and those human feelings have nothing to do with matter. So they need a special arrangement by a one who is consciously and who has enough power to organize all this. The distinction between the qualities of matter and the qualities of the result which is made with this matter. Matter is a material side of the things, but the plant, the life, whatever is happening in the plant has nothing to do. All these qualities in the plant have nothing to do with matter at all. Matter is a different nature, and the plant is a completely different nature. How we can make the distinction here? We look at the so-called cause. In our example, water molecule. And we look at what is the result of the water molecule became a plant or an animal. Take the animal, let's take a bird, which is made of matter, materially, like the computer made of metal, materially. But if I bring my laptop to you and say, how much is it worth? You will say, I don't know, but in an example, $1,000. But the matter used there is worth only maybe $1 or $2. What makes the difference between the value of $2 metal and $1,000 of computer? What is the difference now? We have to see the distinction here. What makes the computer so precious and distinguished from matter itself? What is it? Who can tell me?
The qualities of the computer, the way it functions.
The quality of the computer and
is functioning, is operating, the operating system, the software in there.
Yeah, thank you. How about this software? Can the software will be the result of the accidental happenings of the matter in the billions years of life time period? Billions years developed, and the metal became a computer. Can your mind ever accept this? Think about it. Is it possible? Or there is a scheme here going on. There's a scheme here going on in the materialist approach or analysis of what is happening in the universe. So we have to always ask this quality. For example, I have a simple example again. You may take 100 or 1,000 different seeds. All the programs are written differently in each of them, and put them into the same soil and water them with the same water, what will happen? 1,000 different plants will grow. All of them will have different qualities. What is the trick that the materialist philosophers or scientists play here? It means they devise the scheme. Which kind of scheme they devise? They say, because of the projects are written differently. But we have to ask them, if the project itself can happen by itself, if the project itself can happen by itself, we have to ask this question. The second, if the project develop by itself, improve itself, does it have any quality in the material structure of the cell, so that they will develop into a program? You can think of it by comparing the software or whatever, what makes the method as a computer. You can understand that this has nothing to do with the result. So what is happening here? Distinguishing acts of creation is happening. So the creator of the universe, which is speaking in the Quran, says, I too am devising a scheme. I am also devising a scheme, which means making the distinction between so-called cause and so-called effect. So we should not really be carried away by this presentation saying that, look, it is happening like this. For example, if someone comes to me and say that when I hit this key, always this screen happens or occurs. This, whatever is written here, for example, is shown on the screen. Here, hit this key, this happens. Hit this key, this happens. What does it mean? Oh, as if the key is causing what is happening there. Or is it a design made by a conscious being and the key is employed there, but nothing else? Key has no power, no knowledge, no choice, no wisdom, no way to communicate with other elements or the parts of the computer. We understand that key has nothing to do with it. So that is why we are reminded by the Quran that the way the things are created, the way the things are explained in the speech of the Creator are completely distinguished between right and wrong. The right and wrong are not really, there is no way to confuse that, there may be a possibility that the universe might have happened by itself and might have developed by itself. It is no way the creation is taking place in such a way that there is no way to make confusion and then say this universe doesn't need a conscious, absolutely powerful creator. So what the Quran advises us against these claims, فَمَهِّلِ الْكَافِرِينَ أَمْهِلْهُمْ رُوَيْدًا. So bear with the unbelievers. Let them be for a while. It means just keep themselves busy with this all their schemes, but bear with the unbelievers. It means wait for them. They may say, they may claim anything they want. They are free to claim it. But you have to be careful to examine how the universe is being created, how the universe is really happening out there. We have to be just patient with them, but investigate the creation, always follow the acts of creation and see the difference between what the seemingly causes have the quality and what the seemingly effects, they call it, they so-called effect, are having these qualities. This is nothing but the creation of the creation of God, the creator of the universe. So what we have to do now, on every occasion, we see the difference between the qualities of the so-called cause, qualities of the so-called effect. What are we going to do with this difference? Whatever the qualities we see in the effect, in the plant, are the qualities of the creator manifested in this act of creation. Whatever we see, the qualities manifested in the so-called effect are nothing but the qualities of the creator manifesting himself, introducing himself to conscious human beings. That is why we have to keep ourselves busy with seeing the qualities and getting to know the creator through these qualities, which are called in the Qur'an the names of God, Asma'ul Husna. So we can really get to know who the creator is. Of course, we are given the ability to acknowledge these qualities and the owner of these qualities and get familiar with him. This is called belief in God and communicating with God. Inshallah, we can do this in every occasion in our life, in every occasion that we are experiencing in the universe, and get to know our creator better, inshallah. This concludes the study of the chapter or section Tariq. Inshallah, we will continue with the next section, which is called Qamar, the moon. So we will see what the news is in this new section of the Quran. Inshallah, I'll see you next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever you are available. Thank you very much for joining us. And also I thank Aisha Noor for her beautiful presentation, very, very practical. Thank you. I benefited a lot. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim wa akhiru da'wahum and alhamdulillahi